there was a vibe before also. It's just that you people were not admitted to it. Let me put it that way.
I don't know, maybe, but like for me,
Mhm.
that's when I decided to sign up for my first mountaineering course in 2017.
No, that's great. That's great. Were you also fascinated by that whole army lifestyle? Because I feel a lot of women kind of find that very charismatic. Apart from the person that you were meeting, I feel like the whole being loser. But I don't think failures about losing. Failures just
Not at all.
you tried something and then it didn't work out for you. You know that this is not your thing, or maybe you want to
Very randomly, people started knowing that, I've just come back from this teacher training course, and they started coming. And they
yeah.
started like, we want to learn and we just want to practice
Catch up,
him.
let's catch up, and then let's travel together to Delhi. And you saying there was no vibe there?
No, still.
All right. Here we are with another beautiful episode of I Have Got a Vibe. And today we have a guest here who is quite interesting. And it is going to take me a couple of minutes to really introduce her because she has got so many things and so many capabilities and so many talents in her bag of life, right? So let me just read it out for you because this is not so easy to cram, I promise, okay? She's got a starting degree of MBA in tourism. That's one. Okay. I'm gonna be really slow around this thing because it's gonna take me some time, all right? Then she got a certification in mountaineering where she started leading a lot of kid treks and women treks, right? She's led a lot of treks there. Then she set up an adventure company called Parindi Travels, all right? And then after that, she moved into a real estate business. And Shubhangi, feel free to shed your light on that if I'm going wrong somewhere, because I'm telling you, it was hard to remember. You've got a talent which is hard to remember because there are so many. Now she is a yoga instructor, and at this very minute, she is going to be a new mom soon, and she's also taking her prenatal yoga classes all across the world. So welcome, Shubhangi. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much, Sonakshi. And you can see that I'm, apart from the mommy glow, of course, but I
Of
also
course,
have
you've
this
got mommy
blush
glow. Of
because
course,
of the
mommy
height
glow
that
is
you
there.
created.
No,
Yes,
no,
it's there, but also the
it's
hype from
definitely
you.
there. Also, what?
Also the hype that you've already created.
Oh, no. This is not a hype at all, Shubhangi, because I'm telling you, every word that I've said here is absolutely correct. And I'm telling you, it's not easy to have, so many talents, so many explorations, so many amazing, um, I'd say, qualities to have in such a short span of time. So that is what makes you beautiful. That is what exactly makes you very unconventional. So welcome to the show. We are very, very, very happy to see you here and very, very interested to understand and explore your journey and get inspired from you, because that's the vibe of the show. Get inspired, feel great, and just understand these beautiful people that we have around. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm looking
Yay!
forward.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So let's just dig into your journey. आपकी journey के बारे में बात करेंगे. And I want to understand, to begin off. I really want to understand that you started off from MBA, right? आपने MBA से start किया, and then suddenly mountaineering, right? That's a huge drift. So ऐसा क्या interesting turn था आपकी life में कि आपने MBA की amazing degree के बाद एक sudden change of path किया, and that made you choose in the end choose certification in mountaineering, and then आप treks lead करना शुरू हो गए with kids, with all women groups. How did you do that? What was your initial you know that vibe which got you moving?
Yeah. So I was in the last year of my graduation when I
Okay.
was sitting for Deloitte's interview, and I
Mhm.
cleared all the rounds. And in the last personal interview, they were asking me a couple of questions, and that's when a question popped up. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And that's when, very organically, without even thinking twice, I just mentioned that in the travel industry. And
Wow.
that's when they were like, then why are you here? And first thing after coming out of that interview, I knew was I'm not getting through. Second thing,
Mhm.
I knew that I have to start my research on, what I have to do next. So
Mhm.
after that, I decided to do my MBA in tourism. And
Wow.
tourism was mainly about, of course, travel, leisure, events. Adventure was then a very, I'll not call it like a very popular concept, but
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
it just happened that I got placed with this company. They were purely into adventure,
Mhm.
and their complete business was inbound. So inbound is when the foreigners are coming to India and then they are trekking in the
Oh.
Himalayas. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I got hired for marketing, reservations, being in the office. And
Mhm.
while I was working with them, I used to see these, hardcore people from the mountains coming into the office, all, into their rugged looks. And I was, formally dressed and doing reservations on the laptops. They used to come in, sit for an hour and leave because they were supposed to be in the mountains. And, office was
Okay.
just like a hangout thing for them.
I think
So
please.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Cool.
okay, after working there for a few months, I started realizing that that's where I want to be. I want to do what they are doing, and I don't want to be sitting here in the office at the laptop, in front of the laptop and trying to make reservations or do marketing for the company. So I went
Mhm.
to Ladakh. That's where the company's
Wow.
main office was. I worked in
Okay.
Leh for a couple of months with them.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I started pushing my mentors, come then employers, that I want to start assisting the trek leaders. And
Mhm.
yeah, so they were very humble, and they gave me that opportunity to assist the trek leaders in a couple of treks in Ladakh. And that's when the breakthrough came, and I decided to train myself harder for this, because I realized that without training I can't go on. This is going to get
Wow.
tough. And
Mhm.
that's when I decided to sign up for my first mountaineering course in
Mhm.
2017.
Mhm. No, that's great. That's great. But the whole point of, starting from a feeling of adventure to actually taking up a course and getting certified in it, I mean, that only needs a lot of conviction, right? एक तो होता है ना कि हम लोग बहुत excited होते हैं, oh my god, I want to try this adventure sport, I want to try that, but that's just confined to trying. But to have a
Right.
conviction कि आप
Yeah.
trying से you moved beyond trying, right? And then you ended up becoming an expert on it. Now that takes a lot of courage. So my only point is, like, what kept you going on, and like how
Yeah.
could you in the end up becoming a professional in what you really just in what like really started off with just a desire. That's something I'm really curious to understand.
Actually, honestly, when I was signing up, also, it was hard for me to convince my parents, because I
I'm
come from a
sure, I'm sure.
background
I'm a
where
new
we
mom.
were,
I don't think it's very easy for for
yeah,
you to send off your kids at such adventure, and that too on
yeah,
mountains, starting
yeah.
from Ladakh. Yeah.
I know. And in
So
fact, when I was also signing up for this, I was not aware that it's going to be this. Like, mountaineering is far, far harder than just regular trekking. Trekking is very glamorous, it's fancy. And for me, being in the mountains was something that I wanted to do. After being in
yeah.
Ladakh for a couple of months, I was
Hmm.
sure that, okay, my life has to be now, whatever life I lead next. 70%
Hmm.
has to be in the mountains, and then
In the
30% can
mountains.
be anywhere else. Yeah. So that calling from the mountains, I think, made me very firm that I want to do this. Like, by hook or by crook, I have to convince my parents, and I have to do this. So I signed up. It was a month long course, 28 days, and I was not aware that we'll be like out of network zone for good 18 days, where we will have
Wow.
no connectivity, no
Yeah.
contact with people who are in the cities, or even like, yeah, outside this whole course. So
Yeah.
that was something that was very, very challenging for me. And while I was in the course, I realized mountaineering is a whole different thing.
So
You have
I'm
to,
gonna interrupt you really quick here. I just want to understand since you said like you were out of network for like good about 18 days. Like,
yeah.
were you getting like all negative thoughts because your parents back, you know,
Yeah.
wherever they were?
Yeah.
Where you belong to Rajasthan, is it? Or Bihar? Because
I was born in UP. I was born in Agra, but yes,
okay,
like my roots are from Rajasthan.
from Rajasthan.
So
Yeah, because Jaiswal, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
so were you getting worried? Were you getting nervous because you were getting almost out of network and like then you were and that was not just for a single day, it was for a couple of days. So did you
Yes.
think that your parents would just not react very well to it? Like when you were out of network and you were in the mountains and you were in Ladakh, like these are like very not
Yeah.
very easy terrains to be in, right? So what was your thought about it at that point of time?
So while I was in the course, of course, it was difficult. Physical, the the kind of physical endurance you need. You can't even imagine when you're going there for the first time as a beginner, and that's like the basic mountaineering course.
I
Then you
can't
go for
imagine
advanced.
that, I'm telling you. I can't
Yeah,
imagine
so
that. It's funny.
it's, yeah, it is like by the time you are in that situation and you're doing it because having a 25 kgs backpack and you are going there in the mountains, starting to trek at a high gradient, and the weather conditions are such that it can snow, it can rain anytime.
Wow.
You have no clothes, like change of clothes, because you can only carry limited stuff in the mountains with you.
Yes, yes,
18
yes,
days
yes.
of no water, no change of clothes, no contact with your loved ones.
No
Uh,
water? No
no
water?
water, in the sense, water only to drink, but you don't have water to take a shower, or
Yeah,
you
to
when
take a
you're
shower. Yeah,
when you're
okay.
going to use the loo, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like, and the
Yeah,
water is so cold that you want to avoid using that water also,
I'm
whatever minimum
sure.
water you get. So
Mm-hmm.
the kind of mental endurance also that you need throughout the course was something that I was not prepared for. But
Oh,
as I started, like, as the day started going by and we started proceeding in the course, I started realizing that once you can do this, अगर आपने ये कर लिया एक बार, तो फिर
yeah.
life is going to be very simple. बाकी की दुनिया बहुत मतलब simple और easy लगने लग जाती है, which actually happened. Like after I
Did
came
that?
back, I
Yeah,
started
that
feeling
would be
like,
my next question because you just mentioned that if you were able to do something like this, then
yeah,
life, the other challenges of your life become very simple. So did that actually apply to your life as well? Did you start seeing any challenge, whether it was a physical one or an emotional challenge, did you start seeing it differently after you
yeah.
experienced this thing? Did that happen to you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like going out of network zone and not contacting my parents was something that I was not ready for. And then, of course, it happened because I went out, and there was no
Mhm.
way I could come back, like without finishing. So that was one thing that, of course, there were options to back out if you were not feeling fine. You could always come back. People could bring you back, but that was not an option for me. I was like,
Yeah.
if you have fought so much to come here, then going back will be like disastrous. I cannot do that. So I
I'm
had
gonna,
to
I'm
like,
gonna ask you, I'm gonna ask you a small question here. This is going so much like out of preparation. I love this episode because I feel like there are so many questions popping in my brain at the moment, the minute you're narrating your incidents.
yeah,
But that's amazing. I love the vibe of the show. So thank you again. I just want to take this moment to thank you for bringing such nice vibes in the show. But like, here's my question. When you're
yeah,
saying that there was no way for you to go back, right? Was
yeah.
that because of what you'd committed to yourself, or was that also because you had to prove things back to your own people that no, I went there and I won, and there's no way I came back like a loser? Did you kind of like, was that like, what was the real intention when you say that, there was no way you could come back? Was that because of you, or was that because you had to prove things back to your family and your people out
I feel like
there?
50% honestly, it's got to do with me that, if I have signed up for this, I want to test myself. So I've always like tried,
Mhm.
and I've loved to challenge myself with things.
Mhm.
But yes, of course, we live in that world, especially that time. I think social media was also new. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I have put it everywhere on the social media also, and I'm going for this course. I've signed up.
Yeah. Did you
It's
create a
gonna be
pressure
like
for yourself? Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be so embarrassing that you come back. Of course, people understand and listen to your story, But very
Oh
honestly,
God.
I think we all have that in us that yeah, it's going to be so embarrassing that you
कि
will
मैं
be
नहीं
like
कर पाई मैं नहीं कर पाई यार आई नो
yeah,
यार पता है half of the times ना हम लोग मुझे ऐसा लगता है that half of the times and actually most of the times हम लोग ना
yeah,
we make failure such a big thing
yeah,
especially because there are people witnessing what
yeah.
what you've chosen तो वो
And it's for
फेलियर
real.
जो है ना वो आपके लिए वो एक नो नॉट हैपनिंग वाला जोन बन जाता है and then
Yeah,
you are doing even if at some point of time you want to quit even if that's a very
yeah.
genuine reason you get
Yes,
over pressurized
it
because you
happens.
feel like Arey, people will see failure as being loser but I don't think failure's about losing failure's just
Not at all. Yeah,
you tried something and then it didn't work out for you you know that this is not your thing or maybe you want to give it another shot but I think failure is
exactly.
seen as like a I don't know like a loser thing or something which is so
Eventually,
incorrect.
I feel like, and that time I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
We used to think like that, but I have evolved. Like now it doesn't bother. But that time it used to be like, of course, you want to prove to yourself. The first person you want to prove is,
Right.
okay, I have done this. I can brag about it.
Correct.
And more than bragging about it, I feel like, you've taken up a challenge. You have to get through till the time you can. Of course,
Right.
worst case is, you have to step back. If you're physically hurt, you're, mentally, emotionally way down. So I felt like I was not in that space. And I would have given up only because I was a little weak. But just because I was weak, I didn't feel like, giving it up. So I
No,
decided
that's
to just go
amazing.
ahead and complete it. Yeah. And it was like
That's
a very
amazing.
empowering moment to, come back and speak to my parents and tell them that, we've submitted and we've
You did it. You did it. Yeah.
completed. Yes. So
Yeah.
that was, I
Yeah.
think, that was the price that I was waiting for after coming back.
No, 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 no,
Giving
no.
them.
That's great. That's great. In fact, I feel like for you to come up and finish up a thing like this, it needs a lot of courage, and that's exactly what you were able to show to yourself and convince yourself that you had that, and that only shows that you had a lot of belief in yourself to have taken up such a challenge in the beginning only, right? But
Right.
that brings me to the other question. I feel like so once you finished up, like you finished up your mountaineering and
Yeah.
so after you finished this thing up, you started guiding other people through it, right? You started leading treks like this.
Yes.
Did you feel more pressure? Because now you had like now you were taking responsibility of other people. These
Yeah.
were kids and these were women now you were dealing with. So how was that experience? Was that like did you feel happy? Were you felt liberated or you felt like okay now you're the leader of the show or was it oh my god like so many people what if they fail what if something goes wrong so what were your feelings there
So,
when
having
you
people and taking them to the mountains, first thing is
mm-hmm.
like, it is something as a woman, for people to trust you, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
achievement
yeah,
in itself. So if
it
you're
is an
having,
achievement for sure.
yeah, and that's when I was like, if people are trusting me, to kuch to sahi
Mhm.
kiya hai and kara hoga.
Just like, yeah, correct.
That gave me a lot of confidence that when
I'm
people started signing up, and then of course they started, their parents were like कि हम only if you are going तो ही हम भेजेंगे अपने बच्चों को, वरना
lovely.
किसी और गाइड के
Lovely.
साथ नहीं भेजेंगे. Yeah, so
That's
of course
lovely.
that confidence, along with that confidence came a lot of responsibility, because if they are trusting you, then you can't goof up. Matlab,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
like think of
No, but
anything
that
going on.
Shubhangi, as much as it motivates you, I feel like trust can be heavy also sometimes when
Yeah,
people are trusting you a lot. I think that
yeah,
also sort of brings a lot of pressure on your head because you feel like
absolutely.
शायद अगर मैं अकेली होती ना तो मैं सब कर भी
हाँ,
देती तो
because,
चलेगा,
हाँ,
right? But this
yes,
is now people trusting you and that too they're trusting you with their kids, which is a big thing. यही चीज मैं the previous guest I was talking to her and she
yeah,
also she runs an art studio and like
okay,
kids she takes like kids are coming to her and that's where I say कि जहाँ parents आपको अपने बच्चों के लिए trust कर रहे हैं ना that
yeah.
is an amazing feeling but at the same time it is
Um,
also a great responsibility so
it is. Yeah.
did you
Yeah.
get mixed feelings there did you like feel like यार मजा तो आ रहा है बट यार बहुत लोग मुझ पे ट्रस्ट कर रहे हैं. Would I be able to keep that trust? Did that devil come in your mind and say क्या मैं ये ट्रस्ट रख पाऊंगी? Would I be able? Did that feeling come in your heart?
Yeah, so I was always a person who would, think about herself first. I want to do this. I want to do. I wish I could. I was so free spirited always that jahan bhi jana hai, you are leaving and going. But when this
Yeah,
happened and I started leading treks, I had women and kids with me. And that's
yeah,
when I realized, you know what, this is not going to be all fancy and good.
yeah.
Apart from all the perks that it comes with, the
Mm-hmm.
responsibility is heavier. And it was like every trek had its own challenges, apart from, all the fun that we used to do. But there were challenges. As a leader, you have the local team along. They are
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
everything possible for you. But
Mm-hmm.
you, as the person who's the face of everything, face of the company, face of,
Mm-hmm.
the people have trusted you and they are coming. You cannot take anything for granted, like even the minutest thing. And you have to be
Yeah,
strict, you have to be humble, you have to be caring, you have to be like everything. So I think that was
everything.
very challenging. It taught me a lot, but it
Mhm.
was, I'll be like lying if I said that it was not challenging. It was
I'm
very hard.
sure. I'm sure. And not
Yeah.
just physically, I'm sure that must have been mentally challenging also because you are going and then you're taking a whole, you're taking a whole team along with you, which,
Yeah. Yes, mentally,
but
of course, definitely more. Physically,
yeah,
easier because you have
you're getting
everyone. You're
used to
just
it.
going at everyone's pace. So
Yeah,
physically, it was never challenging, but mentally and emotionally, because even if a little thing goes wrong, it comes on you, and
yeah,
you don't want to like let people down. That was the worry,
yeah,
more than
yeah, yeah.
you don't
I
want to let them
understand.
down.
You
Yeah.
cannot.
So
That trust
yeah,
comes with a very heavy price. It does. It does.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. But then now coming to your um, third, I don't know if I may call it profession or your choice. I think these are all your choices in life, which eventually turned into professions as well. You started off an adventure company of your own. Girl, you need guts for that. And good
Thank
job.
you.
No,
Thank
seriously,
you. Yeah.
to have started from an MBA to moving into, a course in mountaineering and then leading treks, and then you move on to create your own company. Give me some light on there. Like, just shed some light on this company of yours and like, what was your initiative? How did you start it? What was the feeling? Everything. Give me everything about it. I really need to know. That has to be
Right.
the most interesting part of the show, I'm sure. Yeah, go for
Absolutely.
it.
So after
Mhm.
I came back from my basic mountaineering course, I had so my sister used to work with Cisco, and this was in Bangalore, and her friends wanted to come over to the north to trek
Mhm.
in the mountains, and they had of course like seen my stories and heard me. So they planned, a group of her friends planned to come to the mountains, and that was the first break I got as a trek
Mhm.
leader. That
Mhm.
I they were like, okay, we want you to lead us, and that's
Mhm.
when like my local team, and when
Mhm.
you're in the industry, you make networking. You have a good you have a good group of networks and
Yeah.
contacts. They do everything for you, the local teams. So I
Yeah.
was like, cool. So we went to a beautiful trek in Uttarakhand, and after I came
Mhm.
back, now what
Mhm.
became the problem? Of course, like execution, logistics, everything was absolutely perfect. The trek went
Mhm.
really well, but the
Mhm.
problem came in when the money came into picture. And
Mhm.
when they wanted to like pay me, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, where do I take this money,
Oh,
and
wow.
how do
Oh, so
like
they
how
were
do I
reaching out to you just to you,
yes,
not to the organization you were associated with. Oh,
no.
that's
So they
lovely.
yeah.
That's so that
So
was actually these people were the universe ka angels who were coming and telling you कि we trust you more than the company you're associated with, right? And
yes,
then
I
that's
remember
how,
the
wow, that's amazing. तो आपको तो
yeah.
यूनिवर्स ने आके बता दिया कि भाई आपको तो अपनी कंपनी स्टार्ट
Yeah,
करनी थी because you are the brand that they were trusting, no?
yes,
Not the brand,
yes.
not the, yeah, that's
Yeah, not
amazing.
anybody else. So and by then I had no company, no plans to
Mhm.
do this professionally.
Yeah,
But then like it was like when the money came into picture, and
yeah,
I realized I have to be accountable to the government also. So I cannot
Yeah.
just like take all this money and
Yeah.
not pay taxes or whatever. So
Correct.
that's
Correct. Correct.
when
Correct. Correct.
we decided to launch Parinde, and
Okay.
Parinde came into picture then. It
Yeah.
was, I think, again in 2018 only that
Yeah.
Parinde was launched. And
Yeah.
after Parinde was launched, it was purely an adventure travel farm because we started with adventure. But since I had done my studied in tourism,
Mm-hmm.
and my father, so there's something called MICE, which is meetings, incentives, conferences.
Okay.
So it's a business, it's a travel business wherein people go
Mm-hmm.
out to travel plus do
Mm-hmm.
meetings along,
Okay.
conferences.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and that is part of the event industry. So,
Mm-hmm.
somehow I think we cracked that in the
Mm-hmm.
pharmaceutical industry, and that is where my dad is. We have a family
Mm-hmm.
business. So
Okay.
he started giving me a lot of business for that, and I started leading world trips worldwide. So it was
No.
like London, Thailand, Dubai. I took
Mm.
groups of people like 50,
Let me
100,
tell you this.
and
I'm really curious to know one thing. Since I know you've gone to Japan as well, I know Colonel Satnam told me about that. You will tell me this, okay? In Japan, are people not eating like noodles or like are they not using chopsticks?
ramen.
Do they eat with their hands also? This is what I
Yes.
heard. So, like
Yeah,
for
yeah. They're
example,
very
if you
raw.
were dumplings,
They're
right?
very
If you
raw.
were to pick up dumplings, you can they do it. They pick it up with their hands also, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it true?
Ramen.
I feel so good. I can't tell you. This is like such a relief for me because I don't know how to use chopsticks, and I've been hearing this from people that you should be learning this, and I'm like, why not use my hands? I'm so happy using my hands there.
Yeah,
No, that's
absolutely.
great.
Especially
That's
like
good. Now,
Indian
now
food,
we
I
can
feel,
now we can officially say
yeah,
that's great. Yeah.
yes.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so coming back to Paride, so yes, we started doing a lot of trips internationally, and they were mostly mice trips. They were not adventure. So I think a
So you
whole
were
new
taking like a
horizon
whole
opened.
team of people there. You were like
Yes,
organizing like
yes,
people who wanted. Oh,
yes.
lovely.
So we had like again thanking my tourism degree MBA
Yeah,
because that gave me deep contacts in all these countries, and they're called DMCs, the destination management companies.
lovely.
We reached out to them, and then they were doing everything for us. But I was traveling with the group as the manager to manage
Lovely.
everything out. So yeah,
Great.
so a whole new horizon opened after we launched Parinde, and we
Mhm,
realized that we're not just like restricted to adventure, but there's
mhm.
so much more to make money
More to
from,
it.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's when
What did
continued till
people
COVID.
do? This must have been a win-win for everyone, not just you, right? It was not
Absolutely.
just it wasn't that just you were earning money, but at the same time there were people who were benefiting so much, from
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
venture. Yeah.
So you're
No,
giving business like to everybody around the world. So that was
that's
something, yes, and it turned out to be like very very interesting and busy till COVID happened. So till COVID, we were doing like very good that way. Yes.
yeah. People must have not, yeah, I mean, they stopped traveling after it. So it's understandable for the model to
Yeah.
not work. But then definitely, you can always reinitiate it once, people
Yeah.
start.
In fact, like
Hmm.
COVID happened 2020, and Feb 2020 was the last international trip I had led to Bhutan. So there was a group of 15 people. I took
Lovely.
them to Bhutan, and as soon as we came back, yeah, like the lockdown scene happened. So
It happens. But
yeah,
now things are reinitiating. Now people have started to travel again. In fact, consultants are moving around now. So there are hardly like
yeah,
very few work from home things happening now. People have started. In fact, people
yeah,
want to. I don't think people want to be stuck to their houses all the time as well. So no, that's great,
absolutely.
great, great. Let's just talk about next your not the final talent, I'm sure many many you have more, but this is another one which you have in your bag of life, like I say. This is about your yoga certification. So what is it that inspired you? Like that was a huge jump again, right? You became a certified yoga instructor after a mountaineering expert and
Yeah,
having a travel a company of yours. I don't think it was necessarily an adventure company, but it was an
yeah.
entire travel company of yours.
Yeah.
So what is it that took you to the direction of yoga afterwards? How did you go there?
So, with yoga,
Or did you
honestly, never.
oh, I think I need to have another podcast with you, like because this is going above and beyond the the what we thought, and that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, go for it.
With
You
yoga,
know,
there's one
after
thing.
this yoga thing, I'm really interested in your personal life too. I really want to know about your married life, and you have to give me some, because in the end we have to talk like those fun women as well who've got some bitchy vibes to them too. Let me put it that way because I want the world to know that we're not, you and I, and I'm sure many beautiful women are there, are not just about, career. They are fun in their personal lives too. And so
Yeah.
that is the next part that I want to explore after your yoga endeavor. Go for it.
I think yes, that'll be
Yes.
like very interesting. But
It's
we'll
very
come to that.
interesting. It's very interesting. Yes.
Yes,
It's
we'll
a good
come to that.
talk show, for God's sake. We have to talk about these things. We have
Yes.
to bit a
And
bit about
I think
husbands.
he also inspire a lot of girls in a different way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a must share.
Yes, yes, must share for sure. Go for it. Yeah.
So, coming to yoga, with yoga, I feel, I'd always heard that, yoga doesn't, like, you don't choose it. It
Yeah.
comes, it chooses you. And that's what I like saw happening with myself because very
Mm,
randomly one day, it was in, I think, after I had done mountaineering, led treks and had parinde, everything. But
mm,
suddenly, I don't know, it was just like with a call, and it was a friend come acquaintance that she was
mhm,
just telling me how she went to Nasik and did a yoga teacher training course, and she became a yoga instructor, things like
mhm,
that. And by then, COVID, there was no scene of COVID, so travel was still on.
mhm,
But I happened to just like very randomly decide to research about this yoga teacher training course, and this was in an ashram in Nasik.
mhm,
So, I was like, after being such a person who was in the mountains and, had like a very busy life, I just
mhm,
decided to sign up for this yoga teacher training course very randomly. And when I came to my
mhm,
parents and I told them, they were also
mhm,
like, why this now? Like, why?
mhm,
And I had no
mhm.
answer. Like, there was no answer I had that why I want to do it. So it was
Yeah.
very organic, but I went
Mhm,
there. I did the teacher training course. And again, after coming back, I had no plans to teach. I thought,
mhm,
I've just like done it for myself, lived that karma yoga life for, good 1 month, had
mhm,
sattvic food and it was a good
mhm,
time. And
mhm,
and I don't plan to teach. But
mhm.
very, very randomly people started knowing that, I've just come
Yeah.
back from this teacher training course and they started coming and they
Yeah.
started like we want to learn and we just want to like practice with you. So I was like
Mhm,
cool. So this happened for a few months very lightly that people were
mhm,
coming and learning. But in COVID, like I am
mhm.
so thankful and I think the universe just conspires
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. That's how I
everything.
see it. That's how I see
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So COVID happened, travel completely stopped. And by then
Mhm.
I was like, trained in teaching because I had taught a few people of different ages and, different health
Yoga
restrictions.
guru.
So I
Mhm,
got hired by this brand called CultFit, if you've heard,
mhm.
CureFit.
Yes, I've
Uh,
heard of it. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So
Mhm,
in COVID, they hired me, and then one of my mentors, still a very, very good friend, Apurva,
mhm,
I
mhm,
started interning with her, and she
mhm,
gave me a lot of work opportunities. And during
mhm,
COVID, there was this organization called Sangha Yoga, based
mhm,
out of California. So
mhm,
they reached out and they gave us a lot of work. So
mhm,
we had clients based out of US and Canada,
mhm,
and
mhm,
that is when I was motivated to just like work towards it. I completed many more teacher training courses. I got
mhm.
deeply into the practice
Involved
of
into it.
doing it. And being a
Mhm,
dancer, I was
mhm,
always like, I want to explore more in yoga and dance. So I started like
mhm,
combining both. We had
mhm.
yoga dance, so that was something that we brought
Oh,
new.
really? Wow, that's
Uh,
interesting. That sounds interesting. Yoga
yeah,
dance.
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
that's very aesthetically very, I'm sure because yoga is all about poses, right? And then if you
yes,
plan, like
yes,
if you have a dance around the yoga poses, I'm
yes.
sure it's very aesthetically
Very
appealing,
chaos.
right?
Yes, treat to
Yeah,
watch. Absolutely, it
I'm
is.
sure.
And the way you flow, like it was beautiful. So we got into yoga dance, and then decided to learn various other forms of yoga. I
Mhm.
assisted a lot of people understanding, so got into it like in depth. And
Mhm.
started making money sitting at home, So of
Right,
course,
right.
apart from making money, that was never the vision, but it was more that okay, I want to excel in what I'm doing right now, and I want people to come and learn from me. It's
You
gonna be
know,
like, yeah,
no,
yeah,
so what I think about you is, and this is being said by a lot of
hmm,
psychologists and spiritual leaders out there, that if you are really choosing happiness over
yeah,
money, if the whole purpose of you choosing something in life, like in your case, yoga or mountaineering or a degree in tourism,
yeah,
or starting Parinde, right? All these
mm,
things, when you started off with them, I think the purpose behind it was very clearly happiness. And which is why the
absolutely.
facilitator, which was money, started,
Yeah,
it just came running with opportunities for you. So for you, I think whenever, whatever, now that just, if I conclude it, and, before we move on to your personal life and just explore some fun moments in it too, I would
yeah,
love to conclude it in a way that you have been someone, with whatever choices you've taken till now, and I'm sure later on also, it's
yeah,
it's been about happiness, it's been about purpose, and
yeah,
and so that's why universe just came with you and just it started sending you its angels in every way and form,
true.
to monetize this opportunity of yours as well. And I think
Yeah,
that's the beauty of, and that is what I'd like to take away from, your life story in terms of your career. And I think that's what every viewer here would take away, that when we choose something in life, it has to make us happy. Otherwise, even if we're earning money, we're going to be
yeah,
miserable, and that money would not be worth anything. So no, that's great. Thank you so much, Shubhangi, for just talking about your career life. This was truly inspiring, and I'm sure we have to have more sessions on this to understand in detail, because this is really inspiring for the youth out there. So no, I truly thank you for offering this beauty, chunk of your life. I'm sure that's just a chunk. There's
thank you.
more. There's a lot more to it, which we still are going to explore. But moving on
Right.
to your personal life, and I'm gonna now I'm gonna start off the fun
Mhm.
part of the session, because as
Yeah.
much as we love your career part, we'd love to know what is it that in your personal life is the most interesting. So to begin off, because you're going to become a new mom soon, I'd love to know your life ka story, your marriage ka story, whether it was a love marriage, whether it was an arranged marriage, or was, and whether universe was conspiring there also. क्योंकि in your case ना, I've seen most of your जितना भी career रहा है आपका, उसमें सब universe ने definitely contribute किया है. So I'd love to know how has universe contributed to your married life. Like that's something I'm very very excited to know about. So tell me something
So,
interesting. How did you meet
so,
your husband, by the way? How did you meet your husband? Tell me.
so me and my husband are like, we're like childhood friends. Our parents
Yeah,
have worked together, and they have introduced us. Yes, but we've
that's
never dated.
amazing. Okay.
We never
Mm-hmm.
dated in our childhood. So yeah,
Okay. You
but
didn't date?
but very true.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
and
didn't date. Okay.
very true that universe did conspire here as well. I believe a
Mm-hmm.
lot in manifestations. Like I started believing after the like events started happening in my life,
I'm
and
sure.
yes,
We
and
have a lot of
actually
testimonies there.
I was again coming from, a Banya family where people get married in their 20s, and 30s is like, a big deal that you've turned 30 and you're
Yeah.
not married. So my parents
Okay.
were, and my older sister got married at 27, 28. So everybody
Mm-hmm.
was like looking forward to me getting married soon as possible. But,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, and I felt like, that getting married was something not on my cards at all. I wanted to be
Hmm.
with my parents, which I'd always,
Hmm.
so I never went out and studied. So I was always in
Hmm.
Delhi. Of course, I would like travel and come back home to my mom, to my dad.
Yeah.
But going out was never something I wanted to do. I always wanted to live my life with them because I
Hmm.
think I've had the best life with them and I got so much freedom to do whatever I
Amazing.
wanted to do. So I was like, who would want to put this at stake and get married and, lead a life we don't know
You don't force
about?
yourself to get
So
married at all. Correct.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah. And, getting all the comforts also, of course, being with parents, that is a whole different thing.
Correct.
But then this whole reality came into picture where I had to meet
Okay.
people and, the arranged marriage scene started happening. Of course, I had had boys in my life and it was, but never serious. And it was never
Yeah.
like, okay, I want to marry these people.
Yeah.
And then my now husband Rohit. So I knew Rohit from childhood, but Rohit went to
Mhm.
NDA and got into Indian Army. We were always
Okay.
friends, but it was
Mhm.
only like okay, meeting 5 years once in 5 years and things like that.
Yeah.
Never interested in each other that way. But
I don't think
suddenly,
that's completely true, Shubhangi. I don't think. I think you're hiding a vibe there. Come on.
no,
I mean,
no,
you've gone
actually,
to
we were
Indian
not. We were
army, and
not.
no. I mean, come on. Now you're married. You're going to be a mommy. You want to give me some more masala there. There's something. How can you not like a guy who's gone to an NDA? Who's gone into NDA, who's going to become
Because
an army officer,
he was
and then how
always
can you not like you? Who's a girl who's so established in her career, who has got career aspirations, and who's a wonderful person. I think there was a vibe before also. It's just that you people were not admitting to it. Let me put it that way.
I
You
don't know, maybe, but like for
humble.
me, he was
No,
in our childhoods. We used to call each other like he was Tinu for me and I was Mini for him, and we were never like Rohit and Shubhangi. And
have you not heard this line कि लड़का लड़की कभी दोस्त नहीं होते? That's completely true. ऐसा बिल्कुल
exactly,
नहीं होता. आई एम श्योर देयर वाज अ वाइब देयर जो आपको किसी दिन बैठ के ना यू शुड रियली सिट एंड रिफ्लेक्ट कि क्या ऐसा था, क्या हम उस चीज को हमेशा डिनाई कर रहे थे. आई एम श्योर यू नीड टू थिंक अबाउट इट एंड वी नीड टू हैव अनदर सेशन ऑन
maybe,
दिस.
maybe, yes, yes.
या.
I mean, I don't know, like maybe now we can say it because we're married now.
उसका तो दिल
So
पक्का फिदा हुआ होगा. आई एम श्योर रोहित मस्ट हैव बीन हेड्स ओवर हील्स. ठीक है,
yeah.
बिकॉज थोड़ा उसका बट ही मस्ट हैव टेकन हिज टाइम टू टेल यू अबाउट इट. आई थिंक दैट्स हाउ
Yeah,
आई
that's
सी
the truth. So, that's where the catch is. And I feel like all the girls should get inspired because when this whole thing was happening with me, and I think I had met Rohit off lately that time, and I was like, why? I was already 31, and my
Where did you
parents.
meet him? Where did you meet him?
Yeah, so I met him during my work travel. He was here for leaves and he was also in Chandigarh. And we decided to just travel together to Delhi because Rohit was like,
Okay.
let's catch up, let's catch up. And I was like, cool. So while we were traveling together, I was observing
Catch up.
him,
Let's catch up. Let's catch up, and then let's travel together to Delhi. And you saying there was no vibe there?
No,
You
still
think we're
no.
cool? You think
This
because
is
I'm
what
a
he said.
teenager? I'm not. I'm a new mom, and I'm very old. So I think let's catch up. And and you saying there's no vibe. This is just hard to believe. Okay.
Hard to
This
believe
is
for
hard
us
to
too.
believe.
But then that happened and we got off. Like we got
Hmm.
off and there was still nothing. I called my best friend quickly that, there's this guy and I feel
Hmm.
like maybe he could be suitable for me because I feel like, this is the kind of life I want to lead and with him that is possible. So she was like,
And there
I
was
think
still
you're just
nothing.
like,
And there was still nothing. Come on, Shubhangi. There was still nothing. Yeah. Okay.
no,
All
nothing till
right. You
then.
expect me to
Till the
believe this?
time my best friend was like, I think you should just wait and see how it goes for a couple of days and then ask him out. I was like, cool. I gave her a thumbs up. And the next moment, I
Lovely,
wrote a
lovely.
long.
Kudos to your friend, huh? Kudos to your friend who's like, you're telling her that this guy might be suitable for me. And then this girl tells you, okay, you should wait for a few days. This is another one. You got some really serious friends. You should have friends like me, okay? Would have been already encouraged you. All right, girl, you're already in love with him. With him. That's what
Maybe
she should have told you.
because
Okay.
they kind of like knew the history I've had with people and boys. So they were like, you should
Oh,
just
like that.
calm down.
Okay, that makes sense.
That
That
happened
makes
too.
sense.
And then, yeah. But then the
That
next,
makes sense.
very
Okay.
next moment, I wrote like a long message to him. And he was, it felt like, oh, he was just waiting for this message to come.
Yeah, I told
And
you already. You were just not believing it. I told you already. There was a vibe already there because कोई लड़का लड़की दोस्त नहीं होते पहले तो. Firstly,
yes. Oh.
लड़का लड़की कभी दोस्त नहीं होते. ठीक है. I don't mean to sound like a really conservative woman, but I think there's always a little vibe when friends are like chilling out together and they want to travel together and they're waiting for each other and they're saying, and you were saying that he's a suitable guy for you already, and you're saying no, there was nothing. So all this seems very dicey here, girl. I'm telling you, there
Yeah.
was a thing. Okay, so the minute you messaged him, he answered back. So that's so cool. Come on, that's
Yeah.
really
And
cool.
then things happened like very strongly when I had work in Kashmir with my,
Yeah.
I was traveling for work, and he was in Kashmir then. So we kind of like, I was hosted by his unit and things like that. And it was very,
Mm.
very, very uh,
Special.
fancy and nice. Yes. And that's when like I decided, okay, he's the one. And I think by
But
then he had
yeah,
also
tell me this.
decided that I'm the
Tell me
one.
one more thing. Tell me one more thing before we rush to this rapid fire session, because because next time we're gonna have this whole session on your personal life where I'll make you do reflections because I'm a rapid transformational therapist, and I know I'm gonna get into your deepest vibes there and understand what's going on. But tell me
Yeah.
this: were you also fascinated by that whole army lifestyle? Because I feel a lot of women kind of find that very charismatic. Apart from the person that you were meeting, I feel like the whole unit hosting you and the way your guy you saw your guy being treated and how he was treating you, that chivalry came into picture, I'm sure. So like, what
Yes.
was that also a part of you marrying him? Did that
Yes.
help you? Did Indian Army ka banner also play a role here?
Yes, it did. It did, of
Yeah.
course, because I'd always seen movies, and I'm a big buff, and my father also wanted to be in the army. So, it was
Oh,
always like, yeah. But actually, it was, the life turned upside down when I got married. I started understanding that, this has come to, this is real now. I
okay.
am I'm married to a man in the uniform, and
Mm.
it's not just like hunky dory of glamorous or fancy. Of course, the chivalry and everything is there, but apart from that,
Mm.
what you go through as a family and
Yeah,
as a wife
that's
of
true.
a man in the uniform, it's a whole different thing. So before
It's a
marriage,
whole different story.
it was, like, that uniform was eye candy. After marriage, it is still eye candy, but comes with a lot of
Comes with a
other
lifestyle. That I'm
responsibilities.
sure. That I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure on that. No,
So
that's
yeah,
great. Now this was the fun part of the show. But Shubhangi, thank you so much. I think you've shed light into your personal life. On a serious note, you shedding light into your career life and your personal life and the whole concept behind your choices is what really kind of you really brought that out in the show, and that is what I feel like is the whole vibe of the show, and that is what makes you really unconventional in the way you've made the decisions that you hold by till now
yeah,
in your life, and that's
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, yeah, you're very welcome, sweetheart. You're very welcome. Now, we have another beautiful, fun section of the show before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
And that fun section is going to be like a rapid fire, okay? Just, I want you to give me like a one word answer without too much thought, so
Okay.
that we can really like just get to know you a bit more because the audience, I want the audience to know you as much as you can offer. All right, here you go. So, one word that defines you right now.
One word that defines me right now: free spirited, always
Okay,
and forever.
lovely.
Yes,
Lovely. Your comfort food.
rajma chawal.
Oh, I love it too. I love it too. Okay, one
Yes.
thing pregnancy taught you.
To love somebody without even meeting them. So yeah, and caring
That's
for them
true.
even without meeting them. So
That's true. That's true. And one thing that marriage taught you. Tell me.
uh, a lot, but to be the
One word.
most
I know one word is not enough.
letting go of
I
your go,
love it. I love it. I
patience,
love it.
like letting go of everything. Just let
Let it
go.
go. Let it go. My friend asked me. She was like, "Why? What is that?" So she threw a question at me. She's like, "What is it that you love about your marriage?" And I'm like, "Girl, nothing. I like nothing about marriage. You're good. And she was like, what are you saying? I'm like, okay, if you really want to know, your husband gets to pay your bills. And she's like, that's only your husband. Not everyone's husband pays their bills. No, yeah,
True.
I think no, I
Yeah.
think these are all fun things, but in the end, it's marriage is a beautiful companionship if you
It's
are in the right
exactly.
marriage.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, it can become a disaster too, and that's very sad.
Mm.
All
Yeah.
right. So, what is your secret superpower?
Secret superpower would be to convince people, the hard way or the soft way, I would say. Like I can convince people, I feel. This is what I
You know
feel.
what I
And
think? What I think your secret superpower is. I hardly like we've hardly connected, but I think from this conversation, what I think your secret superpower is that you're very dynamic. You can really adjust into different situations beautifully. That's what I think about it. Tell me if that's true.
uh,
Yeah.
it's the secret, so I I keep
What
it.
is the secret?
It's a secret superpower. So,
Yeah.
but
No, no,
yes,
no. Great. Is it?
I
Is it?
feel so too. Yeah, I mean, I've never like thought about it to be honest in depth, but yeah, like
Mm.
I realize it when people tell me, and that being dynamic, being into every situation has always helped. Especially like even when I became a part of the Indian Army, I think that
Yeah.
helped where I could do a lot of things, and then career never had to like take a step back because I could do a lot of things online,
Yeah.
offline. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that helped.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely, definitely. It didn't stop you. Although
It
army
didn't.
life, like you do get restricted in terms of, the careers the wives
Yeah.
could have. But I think it didn't stop you, and that is what beautifully explains how flexible
Yeah.
you are and how much you can derive success out of the most tough
Yeah.
situations in life.
Yeah. And like, yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead. Please go ahead, please go
So
ahead.
the best part was like, getting the best of both worlds along. It was
Yeah.
not just like, you're working, so you're out away. So we could live together, and I could work, he could work. So that was the best part of it.
No, that's great. One more
Yeah.
thing, I also want to mention to the viewers out there that this wonderful woman is now, stepping into her momhood soon, and this also, has been a beautiful time where she's started working on clients who are into prenatal yoga, correct? And so
Yeah.
she has clients all across the world, and if anyone wants to, please feel free to connect with her, and that's something which that's how you're
Mhm.
offering to the universe. I think you're helping people out there. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
no, that's wonderful. That also shows how much you're adaptable to situations and how much you're interested in getting successful, even though you're in a in whatever phase of your life, right? No,
Yeah.
that's
Thank you so
fabulous.
much.
No, thank you, Shubhangi, for offering so much to us. Now, before we really finish off the show, I have a quick, like, just about like a minute for you in case, like, this section says flip the vibe. So here you get to be the host and I get to be the guest really quick, just for one question, and you can kind of just
This is
throw or
exciting.
shoot a question at me, and I'll try to be happily answering. I'll happily answer it in the best way possible. So do you have a question for me? But that's just
I
one
do.
question. You cannot take too much benefit out of it. Okay?
Sad,
Yeah. Hit me.
but one question. Okay, so I know somewhere that you're also a yoga enthusiast, and
Hmm.
what I want to ask is, if ever you were to write your own autobiography and name
Yeah.
it on a yoga pose, then which one and why would you name it on?
Oh, lovely. Mine would be a headstand for sure, because my
Like,
life's always upside down. And I feel like my life is always upside down because I live in the US and I feel like here with
yeah,
no help, with no domestic help, with
yeah,
and this is not just my situation in life when I was just because I'm in the US. I think when I was in India as well, when I was not married, I feel
yeah,
like um, I come with a lot of I have come with a lot of inherent fears, childhood fixations in my mind, in
yeah,
terms of like getting scared of things or getting scared of taking initiatives or being undecisive in life and things like that. So I feel like I was always hung upside down and I had to figure out things to get, to straighten up and find
Okay.
benefits when I was just upside down in life. Um, and that is where I see
So
that
why
why I say things go upside down sometimes, and most of the times why I connect to this pose is because this pose
yeah,
has sort of it brings blood into your head, but at the same time when you straighten up,
yeah,
you are feeling absolutely refreshed, and you feel like you can now see world, your situations more clearly. And that has exactly been my case. All the challenges have really risen me up, and they've helped me find more solutions and become more solution oriented in life. And that's how I see myself connecting to this yoga pose. But that was a
wow.
beautiful question, girl. I
Mhm.
loved it. I loved it. That was
Thank
very
you.
intelligent. That was a very nice question. Thank you.
Yeah, and that was a very, very good and interesting answer. So
Was it? Okay.
I wish I had
That's
more
all.
opportunities to ask you
No,
more questions.
definitely, definitely. For that, you have to become you have to become a guest second time, and then you get to ask one more question, which I'm
Yeah,
definitely. This is my invitation to you again because I want to know so much more out of you, and I think this is never going to end if we don't stop the podcast right now. But I would love to have you again on the show and just get more and more about you and understand your choices and your deep psychology behind every decision that you've taken. So that's a beautiful
I would
experience.
love to
Thank
have
you.
that.
On this note,
So much fun.
Shubhami, say
Thank
that again.
you. I
Say
said
that
it
again.
was so much fun. Like I don't know
Yes.
where time passed by.
No, it just flew. It just flew in this case. Yeah. No, thank you so much. It was a beautiful experience. This is where we're going to wrap up the show, and with the hope that we're going to meet again very soon. And yes, the beautiful viewers out here, whoever wants to connect with this wonderful lady, she's offering so much to the world. At the moment, she's offering her prenatal yoga classes all across the world. Feel free to connect with her and holistically lead your life in the best way possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, sweetheart. You take care. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.